Now let's review public health's past achievements and look into its agenda for the future. In 1999, the CDC compiled a top 10 list of public health achievements in the 20th century. Here they are, not in any special order, and not in order of importance. Routine use of vaccination, reducing, or as in the case of smallpox, eliminating infectious diseases. Improvement in motor vehicle safety through engineering efforts to make vehicles and highways safer, and through persuasion to make drivers adopt safer behaviors. Safer workplaces, reducing illness and fatal injuries in every kind of workplace from mines, construction sites, and transportation industries to manufacturing, office buildings, and schools. Control of infectious diseases through a variety of measures, prevention, including improved sanitation, clean water, safer foods, and of course vaccines. Epidemiologic surveillance and follow-up after outbreaks, and appropriate use of antibiotics. Decline in deaths from heart disease and stroke through identification of risk factors, changes in unhealthy lifestyle behaviors, and detection and treatment of early symptoms. Safer and healthier foods, reducing contamination from farm to fork. Also nutritional labeling and education to help the public choose healthier diets. Healthier mothers and babies from better hygiene, nutrition, and access to health care, including prenatal care and improved medical technology. Access to family planning and contraceptives, putting women in control of their bodies and their lives, allowing for smaller family size and spacing between children, giving women opportunity to pursue education, career, and financial independence. Fluoridation of drinking water, helping reduce unnecessary tooth decay and tooth loss, especially in children. Recognition of tobacco as a health hazard, dramatically reducing smoking-related deaths, discouraging people from starting to smoke, helping smokers to quit, and prohibiting smoking in public spaces, which also eliminates exposure to secondhand smoke. What you'll notice about this list of achievements in public health is that though we've come a long way, each and every 20th century challenge remains a challenge in the 21st century. We have to convince families not to opt out of vaccinations for their children, because they may jeopardize herd immunity that we've worked so hard to achieve. No one wants to witness the recurrence of diseases that can and do severely sicken and kill young children. Our scientists must constantly work to discover vaccines that will eliminate newer scourges such as AIDS and Ebola. Motor vehicle safety is still an issue. It won't surprise anyone that we've become a nation of distracted drivers, with people texting while driving, for example. Will we need to engineer motor vehicles equipped with autopilot to satisfy our obsession with multitasking? Workplace safety will always be a concern. Industrial materials like asbestos were thought to be the best in insulation of buildings until they were discovered to be hazardous to health. Today we're learning the advantages of new nanomaterials, but they haven't been around long enough for us to know the potential hazards. Especially with advances in technology, we have to remain vigilant and test. Control of infectious diseases will forever remain a threat, as we've been reminded by the recent Ebola outbreak in West Africa. We live in a global world of global travel and trade, and an outbreak anywhere in the world can become a problem at home. Heart disease is still the #1 cause of death in the U.S. We continue to battle unhealthy behavioral habits such as poor diets and lack of physical activity, because we are a society that loves its creature comforts. There are constant threats to healthier and safer foods. Genetically modified crops might ward off pesky insects and allow for year-round fresh fruits, vegetables, and grains. But manipulating DNA should always be done with caution. Also, with imported foods, we have to ensure safeguards equivalent to those that we require of domestic products. We've come a long way in reducing maternal and child mortality. But as the gap between the haves and the have-nots continues to widen, and as health disparities continue to increase, challenges in maternal and child health persist. Poor mothers continue to be at risk for low birth weight, preterm births, and infants are more likely to suffer in utero effects of exposure to alcohol, drugs, and other teratogens. Advances made in access to family planning, contraceptives, and abortion are constantly being threatened in the legislatures of conservative states. Fluoridation of drinking water, regardless of its cost effectiveness, is still not standard procedure in poorer communities. With all the scientific evidence identifying tobacco use as a killer, we still haven't discouraged first-time smokers. In addition, the tobacco industry is successfully marketing e-cigarettes to youth and adolescents. E-cigarettes come in a variety of appealing flavors and are easy and inexpensive to buy. Teens are likely to be unaware that they contain carcinogens. Because they also contain nicotine, they're highly addictive. They can be smoked in public places, once again normalizing the sight of people smoking and threatening to undo the expectation of a smoke-free environment. So you see, public health professionals cannot become easily discouraged by having to fight old battles, even if the battles have a new spin. They have to be strong, resilient, persistent, perseverant, and must never quit the fight to protect and promote the public's health. You can also see that public health has a constantly expanding agenda, one that's fraught with ethical dilemmas, questions about the right or moral thing to do. Biotechnology offers new drugs and procedures that can prevent or treat illness. Genetic tests, gene therapy, preimplantation genetic diagnosis, artificial reproductive technology, cloning, stem cell research to one day recreate and replace an individual's damaged tissue and organs, and more. The downside is that only some people have insurance that covers cutting-edge, expensive biotech procedures. The well-insured demand the latest biotechnology. The insurance companies promote it. The doctors, hospitals, and drug companies clamor for it. So medical costs continue to spiral out of control. Yet many Americans, the uninsured and the underinsured, go without the most basic health services. The poor in America just don't have access to quality health care at a cost they can afford. Increasing health disparities in this country rule out any hopes of equity. Health disparities are a blotch, an outright disgrace in our society. There is no doubt that American society is individualistic. That is, individuals look out for themselves, not so much for their neighbor. Our society is also capitalistic. That is, money is considered to be of prime importance. Some people don't want to concern themselves about the future of the environment, not if it means cutting back on creature comforts that require energy from fossil fuels, for example. They'd prefer to have others deal with the problem. They'd also prefer to buy their way out of an unwanted responsibility for communal health. For example, some companies will buy carbon emission quotas from clean companies, so they themselves can continue to pollute with no penalty and no conscience. Attitudes of entitlement and complacency will continue to make health behaviors a big public health challenge now and in the future. Information technology, like biotechnology, has its pros and cons. It too is fraught with ethical dilemmas. On the positive side, technology greatly improves our ability to do epidemiologic surveillance, in that it makes it much easier, quicker, and more efficient. Record of notifiable diseases, detection of outbreaks, and outbreak monitoring can all be done in real time with less manpower and at lower cost. Technology facilitates all kinds of public health assessment, letting us know how effective we are in reducing chronic diseases, hospital discharges, and in increasing immunizations, for example. Furthermore, information technology allows us to share patient information in an efficient and effective way. For example, electronic medical records help overcome fragmented care between and among doctors and hospitals. They avoid repetitive treatments, and they save money. Smartphones send important health messages to patients, reminding them to take needed medications. They also provide emergency alerts to the public on impending weather hazards. On the other hand, there are drawbacks and cautions when using information technology. The Internet, which is so widely used by people in search of medical information and advice, contains uncertified websites which often contain misinformation. Without the help of medical professionals, patients can easily misinterpret health information. Furthermore, drugs which aren't approved in the U.S. are available on the Internet from foreign markets, and consumers may not be protected from fraudulent or irresponsible medical and business practices. We ourselves, microbes that share our physical space, the environment, politics, business, culture, and technology, are all in constant flux. In our future, we need to remain vigilant and prepared for anticipated as well as unanticipated crises. What if public health information systems are hacked, jeopardizing infectious disease monitoring? What if people aren't informed in a regular and timely manner about public health issues that affect them? If new health-related behaviors aren't appropriately regulated by targeted policies? Or what if the public's health workforce isn't trained or competent to do its job? What's it to you? What's it to your family, to your school or workplace, to the community in which you live? Why do you care? Is there one particular issue that stands out for you or your family? Do you like to solve difficult puzzles, address new challenges? Do you want a say in what should be done next to protect and promote our health? And how should it be paid? Are you bothered by recent lapses and shortcomings in the public health system? Do you sometimes think public health needs a better roadmap? Do you think you can help? Why do you care?